Namaste people, welcome to Shweta's Basket. My name is Shweta and this is my basket, which I very lovingly packed with goodies like short stories, poems, book, movie and restaurant reviews, all absolutely fresh and original. For the reviews, you can head over to my website, and as for stories and poems, well, stick around. So as promised, we at Shweta's Basket will continue to bring to you orange and lemon poems and stories, as opposed to all the sweet and chocolatey ones that you've been hearing leading up to Valentine. For here at Shweta's Basket, February is our #Unloved month. Continuing that series, today is our third story for the month. The first was The Man with a Plan, written by Sarveswari Sai Krishna. And it had a protagonist, Kanagu, desperate to get married, while his mother was desperate to get some dowry. To find out what happened to him and if he had his happily ever after, please listen to episode number 21. And then we had the second story for the month, which was Too Troublesome by yours truly, in which the protagonist was a bit confused about who she should choose, Karan or Param. So please listen to episode number 23 to find out who she finally chose. And that brings us to the story for this episode. It is written by Sonal Singh. She's a word weaver par excellence. Though she has the soul of a poet, it's her stories that have her heart. And the story that I have for you today, she has beautifully mixed mythology and fantasy in it. It is titled The Story of Cullswick. The fishing village of Cullswick is perched far up north on the Shetland coast. It bears a quaint, mellow look, much the same as its aged folks. A pebble-strewn beach leads to the small harbour dotted with yawls and sixereens, the Scottish fishing boats bobbing to the waves. The only tavern here, a stone structure aptly christened the Clackhaig, with a French window facade, overlooks the harbour, offering spectacular views of the frigid North Sea. It is here that the village men can be found post-afternoon, wistfully gazing into the sea over a pint of ale. The women are conspicuous by their absence. To this village one day came a writer, a dejected soul in the trough of his career. He was seeking inspiration. Weary after his travels, he sat himself at the tavern and ordered a pint. His thirst quenched, he took stock of his environs. An old man, a fisherman by his looks, sat on an upturned barrel outside, nursing a tankard of ale and gazing at the briny expanse. His wispy blue eyes, set in a wizened, weather-beaten face, were cocooned in a snowy beard. The face bore evidence of rugged labour. There was sadness, a longing in the man's face. He sat as if waiting, as if hoping for something. As the writer looked about, his eyes fell upon many such men. "What's his story?" he asked old Malcolm, the tavern keep, cocking his head towards the old man. "Oh, Sean," snorted Malcolm. "Bah, he's Raj, mad as what. He sits there every day, pining for his love." Intrigued, the writer asked, "Tell me his story." Malcolm sighed, then his expression softened. "Many moons ago, he fell in love with a Silky." "A Silky?" Incredulously, the writer asked, "What nonsense!" "Nah, 'tis true," nodded Malcolm. "He caught her in his fishing nets out by the Isles. When he pulled her into the boat, her skin shed to reveal her. a balderdash, the writer scoffed. Silkies aren't real. Fair like the northern snow. Her russet tresses framed her face. Malcolm ignored the writer and continued wistfully. The emeralds that sparkled in her eyes bewitched all. I that did. And her voice. Her voice, it was gentle tinkle of charmed bells. I tell ya, old Son was ensorcelled. He hid her skin and forced her to marry him. But what? Asked the writer. The lass pined for her kin. The winds that blew whispered the messages from her ilk. By and by she grew melancholic, till one day Malcolm paused and looked at the waters of the bay. She found the skin Sean had hidden. That day she transformed, dove into the bay and disappeared, never to be seen again. Blony! You mean now he just sits there waiting for her to come back? The writer said in a contemptuous voice. Malcolm's voice dropped a notch. With misty eyes, he looked at the men scattered around the tavern and replied with sadness. Aye, he does. We all do. Such a forlorn group they make. I can picture them, almost like a painting or a photograph. All these old men sitting around and blankly staring out to the sea. I don't know if I feel angry with him or sorry for him. He did force her to be with him and now pines away when she's left him. Anyway, did you know? In Scottish mythology, silkies were the sea lions that could shed their skin and take human form. They were thought to live out on the shores of Orkney and Shetland. When a female silkie shed her skin and a human captured it, she was forced to become his wife. If she were ever to find her skin again, she could return to sea, leaving her husband to pine and die. Well, hell, what do you expect when you force someone to marry, isn't it? Now, if you can just leave this pining and dying thing aside, I would most certainly be interested in dining at one such tavern and gazing out at the frigid North Sea. I mean, who amongst us wouldn't want to visit Scotland? Write to me and tell me. And I know for sure the very first email that I will get is from the writer herself, because Scotland is on top of her list. In all probability, she was a Scot in a past life. My email ID is shweta@shwetasbasket.com, and you will find that in the episode description as well. And before we come to the end of this episode, I would like to apologize for, I know in spite of my best effort, getting the Scottish accent right is not possible without proper training. So the idea was just to have a feel of it in the story, and it is not my intention to hurt anybody's sentiment. It is just my humble attempt to give voice to a very beautiful story set in Scotland. And that finally brings me to the end of this episode. Please visit my website www.shwetasbasket.com for more short stories, poems and reviews. And apart from emailing me, you can get in touch with me on Facebook and Instagram. My handle is Shweta's Basket. I hope you caught my previous episodes, and not to miss any in the future, to subscribe to my website and follow my podcast. And guys, have you ever thought of having a website of your own? A place that showcases your talent? A place that is your own? Well, if you have, then listen on, because having a professional looking website is just a click away now. In the meantime, this is your host, Shweta Singh, signing off. Till we meet again on the air, bye for now. Do you want to have a website of your own? Are you a writer, photographer, actor, makeup artist, hairstylist, or even a tutor, singer, painter, journalist, consultant? Or do you have your own cafe, restaurant, resort, holiday home, shop, small business, hospital, or even a blog, WordPress, or Blogspot account that you want to migrate to a good-looking website? Well, look no further. The Geeks will help you, and you will find them in the Geeks room at our Tunes In. Just click on the link in the episode description. Yes, it's that simple to have a website. My website is hosted and managed by them. And want to know what I love about them? They are professional, customer pleasers, straight talkers, and very competently priced. So what are you waiting for? Your website is just a click away.